So in this lecture, we are going to look at the Constitution of India as the part of Indian polity. Indian polity has two parts, first being the study of the Constitution of India, second being democracy at work. Now, being a civil services aspirant, one must ask that why do we study the Constitution of India? And it is this question answering which we will try to understand and establish the Constitution and its significance. So the very important question, what is Constitution of India? So Constitution of India is a legal document. What do I mean that the Constitution of India is a legal document? It means that the provisions of the Constitution of India are legally enforceable, which means that the violation of the provisions of the Constitution of India invites legal punishment. Now let's open the Constitution of India, and the first thing we look at is preamble. Let's read the preamble once. Being a civil services aspirants, we are expected to remember the preamble. So anyhow, the preamble says, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, to hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So the Constitution represents the faith and aspirations of the people of India. The Constitution says that the people of India have faith in principles such as sovereignty, socialism, secularism, democracy, and republican form of government. Aspirations are the objectives which we, the people of India, want to achieve for ourselves, and we want to achieve justice for all. We want to ensure liberty of thought, expression, faith, and worship. We want to ensure equality of status, and we want to promote fraternity, that is the feeling of oneness, the feeling of being the son of the same son and daughters, being the sons and the daughters of the same soil. So Constitution enumerates the higher values that the people of India hold for themselves and the higher goals which we wish to achieve. Constitution is also called as the supreme law of the land. This supreme law of the land is an American concept. So in order to understand why the Constitution of India is known as the supreme law of the land, let's try and understand the phrase law of the land first. So law of the land is basically the sum total of all the laws that are used for the administration, that are used for the good governance of the country. And the law of the land consists of the Constitution, the statutory laws. Statutory laws are the laws made by the Parliament at the center, or the state's legislature at the state level. For example, Right to Information Act, Then we have ordinances. Ordinances are promulgated by the president or the governor. When the concerned houses are not in session, judicial decisions judicial decisions made by higher judiciary. Higher judiciary consists of the Supreme Court and the High Court, but not the Supreme Court. For example, right to privacy. The right to privacy was not an an explicit right under the Constitution of India. It was the judiciary, the Supreme Court in particular, which first interpreted right to privacy as an implicit right under Article 21, right to life. Then we have bylaws. Bylaws are the laws made by the panchayats and the municipalities, but the bylaws are subordinate to the statutory laws. Then we have the rules, regulations, notifications, orders, directions issued by the government of India. And at last, we have at the seventh position, we have the customs that enjoy the force of law as the law of the land. Now, what do I mean when I say the customs which enjoy the force of the law? For example, in Hindus, for example, marriage among Hindus is considered to be legally solemnized when an adult male and an adult female undergoes a series of rituals culminating into them taking 7 rounds of the holy fire. In simpler words, the following of the custom of taking the 7 rounds round the holy fire makes them legally wedded husband and wife, and hence the husband cannot deny the wife the legal rights by the virtue of being his wife, and if he does, he can be held legally liable for any such action. On the lighter note, a man cannot say that he has nothing to do with the woman and the marriage, and he took the rounds of the fire to warm himself, as the night being the chilliest of all the winter nights in Delhi. On further lighter note, such temptations must be resisted in all its possibilities, and I'm a big believer of gender equality too. Anyhow, coming back. Here the numerical order from 1 to 5, here the numerical order from 1 to 7 represents the hierarchy. Therefore, the constitution being at 1 is supreme of all the laws and customs. Therefore, all the laws and customs from 2nd to the 7th must be in conformity of the constitution, else they are declared unconstitutional, and hence they stand void. Our constitution is also known as an organic law. What do I mean by organic law? Organic law is a law which establishes an administrative structure. And the Constitution of India establishes a 3-tier administrative system. The central administrative system being at the center, which consists of the Union Executive, the Parliament, and the Supreme Court. And at the state level, it establishes a state administrative system, which consists of the state executive, the state legislature, and the state judiciary. And for the third level, for the third tier, It establishes local self-government, which consists of the panchayat and municipality. From the above discussion, we can conclude that the constitution it is the constitution which creates the three wings of the state, the three organs of the state: the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. Now, this far we have studied that the constitution, being the supreme law of the land, must be followed, as it is important in the administration of the country. But why do we obey? Why do we obey the laws made by the parliament? And the answer to that is simply that the constitution says so, and which in fact it does. Constitution has conferred the power on the parliament to make laws. All right, then a curious mind must ask that constitution, being itself a law, enables the parliament to make laws further. But what if the parliament makes a law which tries to nullify the constitution itself? Can the parliament make such law? An answer to that question is yes, the parliament can make such laws. But such laws cannot come into existence, as the power to interpret the laws is with the judiciary. So if there is a law which undermines the constitution, the judiciary, with the power of judicial review vested in it by the constitution, will hold such a law unconstitutional and declare it void. How the judiciary does that, and how the parliament makes the law, and how they balance each other, is part of a separate lecture, separation of power. But here we can finally conclude and safely conclude that constitution not only creates, empowers and distributes the power among the three organs of the state: the executive, the legislature and the judiciary, but also restricts and regulates such powers. It is also noteworthy that all the laws of the land enjoy the legal sanctity, but the constitution only enjoys a special legal sanctity. Now the question, why does it enjoy the special legal sanctity? It does so because it draws its powers directly from the people. So thus far we have understood that the constitution creates, establishes and regulates the three organs of the state, namely executive, the legislature and the judiciary. The constitution also establishes the relationship between the state and the people, and the legal relationship between the state and the people is nothing but the citizenship. So let's just quickly revise of what we have seen so far. So we began our discussion with the Constitution of India, and we are studying Constitution of India as part of the Indian polity. The first part being the study of the Constitution of India, the second part being the democracy at work. We are trying to answer the question, why do we study the Constitution of India, so as to establish the constitution and its significance for our understanding, we began by looking at constitution at as a legal document. Then we looked at the preamble, and we understood that the constitution embodies the faith and aspirations of the people of India. The people have faith in certain principles such as sovereignty, socialism, etc. And aspirations are the objectives which the people wish to achieve for themselves, such as justice for all, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So the Constitution enumerates the higher values and the higher goals of the people of India. The Constitution is also known as the supreme law of the land. It is also known as the fundamental law of the land. Fundamental law of the land because it is fundamental to the governance of the country. And supreme law of the land, to understand supreme law of the land, we understood the phrase law of the land, which consists of the laws from the ranging from constitution to the customary law, to the customs that enjoy the force of law. Then we looked at constitution as an organic law which established a three-tier administrative system. Then we looked that the constitution establishes the three organs of the state and empowers and regulates their functions further. The constitution also establishes the relationship between the state and the people. So it is the constitution which enables and empowers. It is the constitution which empowers and enables India to be the socialist, secular, sovereign, democratic republic with its three state organs, namely the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, to strive for the aspirations such as justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity for all its citizens. Now imagine for a second, what if constitution disappears? If the constitution disappears, then this very arrangement would also disappear, and India would cease to exist as the political unit as it is today. Therefore, we would conclude our lecture with the conclusion that constitution is central to the existence of functioning of India as the political unit we know today. So this is where we conclude our lecture, and in the next lecture we would look at the various forms of the constitution, namely the written constitution and unwritten constitution. Thank you.